Hello, Dark Blade here with another video for you. This one we're doing the Carrow Twins. Right, Carrow Twins. I've given them a coat of Stegadon Scale Green. If you've seen the Abernathy tutorial, it's a similar paint scheme to that, but obviously we're going to be doing a lighter colour at the top. That's masked off because I used the airbrush to cheat with the base coat, and because I've painted his face already. So next up is a wash, and I'm using a night blue game colour with a little bit of black mixed in it and a bit of medium. So I'll just show you, it's looking pretty dark in there. So that's how dark it is on its own. I'm going to add some medium into it, just to thin it slightly. Try that a bit more, because I don't want it too dark. Yeah, that'll do. So it's a lot more, well, a little bit more transparent, so it's not going to be so intense on the mini. So I'm just going to swap brushes now, and we'll make a start on this one. I don't want it to pool too much, apart from in these ones down here, you know, the deeper ones. So I'll do all the deep recesses first and maybe come back and do the other parts of the miniature on the second coat. So we'll leave that dry while we do the other one. So I've left them thoroughly dry. We've got quite a decent shadow in there now. So what I'm going to do is I'll do another coat. We'll do the whole garment now. So I'll even do up on the raised parts, but I haven't got that much on my brush for the raised parts. I'll deposit the wash into the recesses, but then once most of it's come off the brush, I'll then move on to the the higher parts of the miniature, or the more raised parts of the miniature. So that way we've given ourselves a decent shadow in the recesses compared to the raised parts. It's a more controlled way of putting shadows in, because you're making on the second coat you're making it more intense in the shadows by going over that bit, and you're still shading the upper parts but with only one coat compared to the two coats in the shadow. Hope that makes sense. Like sometimes you can make a shadow by, say if your miniature is just a plain white undercoat and you add one coat of paint over the top, but just paint in the shadow areas, and then you do a second thin coat over the top and do the whole miniature, you're going to have a natural shadow in the recesses, but just using one, the same colour. Sorry, I'm going way off camera there. Right, let's get back in the middle. Okay. Alright, second coat is dry. What I'm going to do now is get the airbrush out and do a first layer with Dark Reaper. And I'm just going to concentrate it down the bottom here and around the top there and the sleeves, before we start using it with the brush then to pick out the raised areas. But this will save time on it, so just apply it down the bottom here. So you can see we've got a highlight on the chest now and the arm. I'll just work this sleeve as well. And around the bottom. So I'm going to do the same for this one. So we've added some Thunderhawk blue to the mix. I'm just going to give it a mix in the cup. And we'll do the same again, but work in a smaller area, so I'm not going to go as high up as the last highlight. I think we've got a nice little transition going there now, so that's pretty good. Be switching to the brush now. So now we've got the highlights down. What I'm going to do is to go back in the areas that we highlighted, well, particularly down the bottom, with another coat or another pass with the wash that we made earlier. And just keep it in the recesses. Make any mistakes, just go with water over the top to get rid of it. I'll feather this edge now as well. Just water. And we'll see how that dries and if it needs another pass. Shall find out. On to the second one. I got too thick there, so I've got water now, just to feather off the edge there, and on the other side. Okay. Right, for the cuffs of the robe and that section at the shoulders and the chest, I'm using Slanesh Grey, and I'm just going to put a quick coat down. I want a nice opaque layer for this one because we'll be adding shadows and highlights to it. So I want a good solid colour, especially in the middle here. And the same again on this part here. That's where I want my mid-tone. I'll have my highlights up here and shadows down here. So it'll take a couple of coats to get there. And we'll come back for the next bit. So for the next part, I'm going to be using my mix, the 3 parts water, 1 part glaze medium. So I've got that on the side of my palette. I'm just going to dip my brush in it very lightly, and I'm going to just apply it to the bottom part there, so it's just dampens it slightly. You're not flooding the area. It's just to get a workable surface there. So then I'm going to apply a coat of this one, Somber Grey. It's a bit darker than the Fang, which is a similar colour to the Slanesh Grey and the Warp Fiend Grey, but I wanted to try this one out today. So I haven't added any water to it. I'm just applying it there. Within that area that we've just used the glaze medium water mix, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to feather that off and then come back up again. So I'm going to see if that's still wet there. Yeah, so I'm going in with the somber grey there. Clean my brush. And start above where the somber grey is, feather down into it, and then pull it back out again. And that gives you a cheeky little transition there. So we'll do the same up on the chest. Might be easier to see up here. So just do that bottom third there. Apply the grey. I'm just pushing the big one down this time, because I know I'll get a blend that way as well. For the highlight colour, it is Slanesh grey with a little bit of ivory in it. And I'm just going to apply it to this part of the sleeve. And just wipe my brush, feather that off. And then I'll apply the mid-toning in there just to bring it back a bit. So this is the highlight colour. Feather that off with water. And just in case, I'll put the mid-tone back in there. So I'll do the same for the shoulders. And you can do this as many times as you want until you're happy with the tone. Because when you feather it, it will make it less intense of a area that you highlight. So we'll leave that dry and see what it looks like. So onto the robes then. I'm going back to the 50-50 mix of the Dark Reaper and Thunderhawk Blue, and I'm just going to reinforce these folds down here. So I'm just down the bottom. I'll do a couple of passes. And then onto the Thunderhawk Blue on its own. And I'm not going to go as high as the last pass. This is still wet, so it blends over the top quite nicely. And again, we'll do a couple of passes. pull the pigment up towards the grey area. And this one is rust grey next. And just stay down towards the bottom now. Smaller area again. Just emphasize that middle centre of the road there. And up on the chest. And pick out the folds. So to finish off, I've got 50-50 rust grey and Fenrisian grey. And this is just down at the bottom now. It's similar to an edge highlight, but very low down. Pick a sleeve out there as well. I think I don't want to go too light because it'll just be a bit samey with the light grey that we've got at the top. So I'll leave it for there for now, see what it dries like while I do a brother. Right, coming to the closing stages now. I'm just going to do a hair with German grey. I'm going to be pulling the brush strokes away from the forehead because it's not that apparent where the hairline ends or starts. So I'm just going to be careful. So it's the hair done on both of them. I had to totally guess the hairline on the on this one, but I think we did all right. As long as you, I know on this one I've done like a stark line, but on this one I've angled the brush that way and then pulled the stroke back towards the top of the head, so I've got like a jagged appearance and it looks a bit better. So what I'm going to do is to highlight the hair now using dark blue grey, and I'm just going to pick out strands now. And it's just the odd one towards the top. And pull it up to the crown and then highlight the bun at the back. Probably do a couple of passes at this and maybe one more highlight to it. And I'll probably do the same on this guy here. So that's the hair highlighted. I'm happy with that as they are now, but I say if you wanted to carry on from here by picking out the detail on the collar and the sleeves, yeah, carry on. But I think I need to move on from these. I've had enough of these. I've been sitting on my desk for ages, so it's possible I'll come back in the future and try and highlight these, I think, or maybe darken them. I'll have a play. I'm not entirely sure which way I'd go, to be honest. Probably a darker colour for the detail, but we'll see. But anyway, I'll get them based and we'll come back for the wrap up. Okay, there we go, finished on the bases, another 2 off the list. Very happy. I did go ahead and pick out the pattern on the cuffs and the shoulders and chest. What I did was a bit of white and added in a bit of white ink and a bit of flow improver, so that if I made any mistakes I could just get rid of it with some water. So just take your time, use a brush with a nice point on it and just follow the lines. It's pretty straightforward. As long as you've got a bit of control on that brush head, should be okay. So that's it from me for now. So yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.